In this video, we'll talk about the important nutrients you need if you are on a vegan diet. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to our channel, NextGenU, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get instant updates on our brand new content. There are many upsides to being a vegan. Over the years, researchers have found a link between being on a plant-based diet and lowered risks of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, as well as certain cancers. But along with those advantages come great disadvantages that need looking into. One of them is the lack of certain nutrients that many non-vegan foods are rich in. And if you miss out on these nutrients, you could also suffer from certain health conditions, even if you ardently follow a strict vegan diet. However, that doesn't mean that you should give up on veganism altogether, because in this video, we'll run through the important nutrients you need as a vegan and how to get them outside of the non-vegan options. If you happen to be dealing with this specific problem, you definitely came to the right place. Be sure to watch this video until the end. We have a total of 7 important nutrients which we will discuss in detail. Vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is crucial for the formation of red blood cells. It also helps in the metabolic process for proteins and for the enhancement of the immune system. If you're a non-vegan, some of the foods you can load up on are beef, liver, chicken, eggs, and dairy products like low-fat milk, yogurt, and cheese. However, the same can't be said for vegetarians and vegans alike. In fact, many studies have found that these groups of people have a higher risk for deficiency. But what if you are vitamin B12 deficient? The least that could go wrong would be anemia, which can cause you to feel tired often. At worst, you could go through nervous system damage, infertility, and even bone and heart disease. These are long-term conditions that are very much avoidable. Supplementation is definitely an option you can take to avoid vitamin B12 deficiency. Your doctor can recommend proper doses and brands for you. But some vegan options you can go with are nutritional yeast, soy products like tempeh and almond milk, subnori seaweed, and cremini mushrooms, just to name a few. Vitamin D. Primarily a fat-soluble, vitamin D is mostly responsible for regulating and enhancing your body's absorption of calcium. It also holds a huge influence in certain vital bodily functions like immune system response, mood and memory regulation, as well as muscle recovery. If you don't follow a plant-based diet, your food sources of vitamin D are oily fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, red meat, liver, and egg yolks. As a vegan, we all know that a primary source of this nutrient is the sun, which you need at least 10 minutes of exposure each day to get the most out of it. But of course, this won't be enough, especially if you live in a colder region where there isn't too much sunshine. This could be an issue. Doctors recommend 15 micrograms of vitamin D per day for children and adults. The elderly and pregnant need a little more with 20 micrograms per day. And a lack of vitamin D may result in a weakened immune system, fatigue, bone pain, and even depression. The good news is you can prevent all of these by consuming vegan foods like mushrooms, soy products like almond milk and soy milk, as well as juices and cereals that are fortified with vitamin D. You can also take supplements upon the discretion of your doctor. Vitamin K2. This is probably one of the lesser-known vitamins out there if we compare it with vitamins A, C, D, and E. But this nutrient plays a huge role in blood clotting, regulating the blood's calcium levels and bone metabolism, among others. Non-vegans can get their vitamin K2 from meat, fish, liver, and eggs, and while deficiency of this nutrient comes rarely, those who experience it will likely go through some bruising and bleeding, which is still unpleasant. If you're on a plant-based diet, some of your good sources of vitamin K2 are green leafy vegetables such as kale, collards, turnip greens, parsley, romaine, Swiss chard, and spinach. You can also get it from other vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Some studies suggest that this nutrient also promotes stronger bone health for adults. This is something you definitely need, especially in preparation for older age. Iron. This is the main driving force behind the body's ability to grow and develop. Iron is used to make hemoglobin, a protein in the blood that helps transport oxygen throughout the body. Iron is also used to create myoglobin, which provides oxygen for the muscles. Now, if you're not a vegan, it's easy to acquire foods rich in iron. You'll just need to drive down to the grocery store to get some red meat, poultry and pork, or any seafood of your choice. These foods are rich in heme iron, which is easier for the body to absorb. There's been a misconception that vegans may be at a higher risk of iron deficiency, but many studies already proved otherwise. In fact, you can get adequate amounts of iron in vegan foods like whole grains, legumes, nuts, dark leafy vegetables like collard greens, bok choy and kale, dried fruits, and fortified cereals. It's important to regulate your iron intake and keep it at normal levels. Too little of it may lead to iron deficiency anemia, which can leave you tired and fatigued all the time. On the other hand, too much of it may lead to liver disease, heart problems, even diabetes. If you're considering taking supplements, be sure to consult your doctor first. Calcium. Unlike iron, vegans are at risk of being deficient in calcium. Recent studies have found that those who are strictly on a plant-based diet showed a lack of calcium in their bodies compared to vegetarians and omnivores. Non-vegans can get their calcium needs from foods like cheese, sardines, and yogurt. They can also drink a lot of milk to fortify themselves with this nutrient. As a vegan, your go-to sources would be dark leafy vegetables like mustard greens and watercress, chickpeas, and fortified soy products. However, this may not be enough to give you proper sustenance. The problem with calcium deficiency is that it shows no early symptoms. Some people will go through episodes of muscle spasms and cramps, brittling of nails, and easier fracturing of bones. However, the worst of the symptoms may actually hit hard through later life ailments like cataracts, osteoporosis, even alterations in the brain. If you feel like you're not getting enough calcium, your next best recourse would be supplementation. Be sure to do so under the proper guidance of your doctor. Zinc. If you're all about improving your immune system function and metabolism, you'd want to have an adequate amount of zinc in your body. And if you're a vegan, there's a good chance that you're not getting a lot of it. To be clear, not all vegans are zinc deficient. However, recent studies have shown that most who strictly practice a plant-based diet have lower zinc levels in their blood compared to their omnivore counterparts. Non-vegans have the luxury to enjoy meat, which are excellent sources of zinc. They also have dairy, eggs, and shellfish as alternative sources of this nutrient, so they're pretty much covered. On the flip side, there aren't many plant-based foods that are rich in zinc. Legumes are at the top of this list, followed by nuts, seeds, oats, and tofu. Eating a variety of these foods throughout the day may help regulate zinc levels for vegans. Zinc deficiency may lead to conditions like hair loss, delayed sexual maturation, impotence, hypogonadism in men, and skin lesions. If you feel like you're not getting enough of this nutrient, consult your doctor for supplementation. Iodine. Iodine is an important nutrient to keep our thyroid glands in tip-top shape. It also bears numerous other benefits, including improving cognitive function, a baby's neurodevelopment during the mother's pregnancy, and the improvement of their birth weight. Non-vegans have several food sources they can get their iodine from. Some good examples are dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt, seafood like shrimp, and fishes like cod and tuna. For those who are strictly on a plant-based diet, your best food sources are whole grains, green beans, and vegetables like kale, courgettes, spring greens, and watercress. Seaweed is another great source of iodine. However, these foods may not contain enough to give you the amount you need. The most common disorder that comes from iodine deficiency is goiter. This is an illness wherein a person's thyroid swells up. They would usually experience difficulty in swallowing and choking, especially when they lie down. As a vegan, one way to ramp up your iodine levels would be to boil your pasta with some iodized salt. But if necessary, you may want to consider taking supplements to ensure you're getting enough in your daily diet. The key here is balance. Make sure you're consuming enough of the foods that are rich in these needed nutrients, but a supplement can always help in that regard. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, we've been able to provide you with enough information to keep yourself in the best shape as a vegan. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to our channel, Next Gen U, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell.